Do you know the Brummie comedian Joe Lycett? As Nigel mentioned, he was on stage telling jokes. Can you guess what happened next, boys and girls? Joe Lycett fan calls police after being left offended by one of his jokes. And do you know what the police did next? They opened an investigation into Joe Lycett's joke and required the accused to make a statement explaining the, quote, context of the joke, because 21st century Britain has now degenerated into the same condition as newly communist Czechoslovakia in the 1940s, where, as in Milan Kundera's great novel The Joke, the wrong quip, the inapposite jest, an infelicitous bon mot can destroy your life. The only joke here is the British police. In Britain, everything is policed except crime. According to the latest statistics, only 6% of crimes even result in a summons or a charge, just a court appearance, never mind a conviction. So crime does pay very, very handsomely for 94% of perpetrators. But don't worry, the coppers get handsome salaries to drive around in rainbow-coloured cars to chastise you for misgendering someone on Twitter. It would make a barely statistically detectable difference if the entire British constabulary were laid off immediately, and it would at least ensure that the great legacy of Sir Robert Peel is not betrayed every minute of every hour of every day by his utterly disgraceful successors. Yesterday we reported the story of Sophie, a 12-year-old girl who was raped by at least 8 different quote-unquote Asian men in one day because of the callous indifference of the desk officer at Oldham Police Station. 2 of those rapists picked her up in the lobby of Oldham Police Station itself, the place where you go to seek sanctuary. To go for protection turns out to be merely the marketplace where the rapists pick out their next piece of meat. 2 of those 8 men, Sarwar Ali and Shakil Chowdhury, that's Mr. Chowdhury there, are now in jail. The other 6 rapists are still at large. Well, another day, another town, another, quote, damning report, 200-page damning report. Oh, there's no reports that aren't damning now. That's what they call them. The British Board of Media Clichés had a big meeting and decided that all these reports are damning. The report on Oldham is damning. Quote, damning report into child sexual exploitation in Oldham. And here we are, a mere 24 hours later, and the report on Rotherham is equally damning. Quote, Rotherham police dismissed child sex abuse as typical teen behaviour. Damning report finds. As the years go by, you can't help noticing that for all the damning reports, nobody gets damned. For all the failures in Rotherham, and by failures I mean gang rape night after night after night by gangs of, quote, Asian men, that's to say men originating somewhere in the vast Asian landmass, somewhere between Armenia and the Philippines, somewhere in the exotic mists that produced Fu Manchu and Gunga Din and the Kardashian family. Because the precision of the term Asian men is really useful. Don't try to narrow it down to Pakistan or Muslim, because Asia contains 60% of the world's population. And that's as precise as the crackerjack British media are going to get. Rape, 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 night after night, year after year, and not a single policeman in Rotherham has lost his job. All the ones who failed my next guest are either still there or enjoying retirement on a full pension. But don't worry, we've got another damning report. Super, super damning. And as is traditional, some job's worth of a Deputy Assistant Chief Constable says, of course, we accept all the findings of this damning report. And meanwhile, the rape, rape, rape goes on in town after town after town.